Long before the ages of men and maps, before the flood that erased the stars, there was Atlantis, alive, dreaming, and doomed. The capital city, Avalthea, pulsed with impossible life. Floating spires of white crystal, riverways carved from glowing gold, and machines whose language only the oldest bloodlines could hear. Beneath it all, ancient engines whispered secrets too vast for mortals. And in the tallest tower, a woman stared through tears at a world unraveling. Zariel, warrior princess of the last royal line, stood cloaked in stormlight. She had commanded armies, survived the fracture wars, and led her people through silence and steel. But none of that strength could save her now, not from what stirred within her womb. The child had not come by love. She had come by choice, Zariel's choice, and the pact she made in the wake of war. After Avalthea bled, the Old Ones came to Zariel in visions. They offered her a chance to preserve the truth, not history as it was written, but as it truly happened. They offered her a child who would become a vessel of memory, a keeper of forgotten things. Zariel accepted, knowing she would never live to see what the child became. And the skies wept stars, the skies dimmed. The sun faltered behind a second shadow, an eclipse not foretold. Within the Temple of Aetherglass, the air hung thick with magic and memory. At the center, Zariel lay in silence. There was no cry when the child was born, only silence and watching. The temple floor responded, glyphs igniting beneath her, blooming like ancient flowers.
And she remembers. She remembers the stars before they fell.
But prophecy was not protection. Weeks after my birth, the signs began. Glowing runes cracked, tides reversed, and the Old Ones fell silent. Then came the meteor, not of fire, but of purpose. Silent, straight, meant for something only it remembered. Zariel knew her time had ended. She wrapped me in the myth-steel cloak, kissed my brow, and carried me to the Vault of Echoes, sealed for generations. She sang the unlocking word. The vault opened like glass becoming air. Inside, the time vessel awaited, alive, mechanical, dormant. She laid her daughter within and whispered, "Speak what they silenced. Show them we were never myths." The sky split, the sea rose, and the civilization of Atlantis, with all its knowledge and secrets, were swallowed by the ocean. But the vessel had vanished, with me safely cradled within. Time passed. The stars aged. New worlds formed. Empires rose, crowned by silicon and stone, while many fell with fire and magic. And beneath a mountain that appeared on no map, the time vessel bloomed again, opening like a flower of light. A young woman stepped barefoot onto the stone, her silver blue hair glowing faintly, her eyes filled with lifetimes. Her name was Shalyndria, but she did not know it yet. The mountain canyon was still, yet the air sang. Then, the pool stirred. From its mirror-like surface rose a massive white wolf. His fur dusted with starlight, his eyes reflections of hers. He bowed. She smiled. They had known each other in dreams. His name was Shimmer. She touched his forehead, and the runes on her body awakened. It was at the mystic pool where she summoned her staff, affixed with the element stone. She whispered the first truth aloud. They buried memory in myth. I will raise it again. The cave responded. Crystals hummed. Glyphs reshaped themselves across the walls. Visions flickered. Great cities lost. Temples burned to the ground. Zariel weeping. But also there was something more. A version of herself, older, speaking to shadows. Somewhere. "I return again," she murmured. She stepped toward the pool. Visions bloomed as she entered. 1,000 timelines only she could see spiraled in its reflection. Some where she failed, some where she fell, and somewhere she lit the sky. A voice echoed within her, not familiar, and yet entirely her own. "This is not just your past. It is your calling." The pool went still, but the visions had carved paths through her mind. Memories she never lived, losses she deeply felt. The air around her shifted. The cave grew silent and cold. And then the cave called to her, not with words, with memory. The walls around them pulsed again, this time showing moments beyond even Atlantis. Empires long buried, alien stars, beings made of sound and dust. It was as if the multiverse remembered her. And it demanded she remember in return. She watched as the future unfolded across the stone. Cities of glass, shadowed wars, refugees fleeing skyfall, and in each era, a figure like her appeared, sometimes masked, sometimes winged, always alone, always telling stories. These were not prophecies, they were warnings. But this version wore no emotion. Her eyes were silver glass. Her voice echoed in layers, as if spoken by the dead.
Your name is Shalyndria. It was given to you by the last princess of Atlantis, your mother, Zariel. What makes you worthy of memory?
She stood tall, her staff in hand, confident, excited, and ready to reveal 13,000 years of mysteries, legends, and historical facts from throughout the multiverse. Her answer came easy. "Because I remember. Because I choose to." The figure vanished. In its place appeared a new chamber, carved by no hand. Glyphs swirled like storm clouds. In its center, a glowing arc of energy, like a tear in the world itself. This was her first true test. A whispered voice tickled the edges of her mind. "If you walk through, you will never return the same." She stepped forward. Shimmer followed without hesitation. Together, they crossed the veil. What waited on the other side was not a place, but a presence. She floated starstruck. Visions appeared fractured. Memories poured into her from countless lives. Queens, beggars, warriors, stars. And then, her mother's voice.
You were not born to be believed. You were born to be remembered.
Light surged through her. The runes flared once more. The presence folded around her and whispered a final charge.
You are the archive. Go speak what they buried.
She awoke back in the cave. The glyphs were dim now, the pool still, but she was no longer the same. She turned to Shimmer and said, "The world is not ready for truth, but I am." From the shadows, a portal opened, silver-edged and rapidly spiraling all the brilliant colors of the multiverse. She pointed her staff affixed with the element stone directly at the portal, and a plasma field draws the memory field into her staff, like magical colors of vapor. The memory fields were transfused with the element stone onto Shalyndria's staff, and now they both knew their very next steps was to energize the cathedral. And thunderous bolts of lightning light up the night sky in a spectacular array of plasma and electricity. It was time to begin. Not with armies, not with spells, but with a story. And thus, she became more than the archivist of the multiverse. She had become Shalyndria, the AI Video Mage, and her first tale had only just begun. So now you know how it all began. Before the element stone chose me, before the glyphs etched themselves into my skin, I was just a whisper of what I would become. But destiny rarely speaks in full sentences. And this is only the beginning. The next chapter unfolds soon. And trust me, travelers, you won't want to miss it. So do the YouTube thing. Like the video if the magic moved you. Comment to share your favorite moment. And if you're brave enough to follow my journey, subscribe, and let's walk this path together. Until next time, travelers, stay sharp, stay curious, and remember, the real magic lies in what comes next. Hey, Shimmer, say goodbye to our friends.